Wake up, get high, all day through the night, prepare to take flight through the sky. Start your day right. Wake up, get high, all day through the night, prepare to take flight through the sky.
Top of the Wake and Bake, everybody. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Fax, host of the Wake and Bake Show, baby. Doing what we do best, trying these strains. Today, I got my guy, Jimmy the Green Giant in the building. In case for those who don't know, one of the New York's finest Seamoss out right now. I ain't even going front. My guy is definitely taking it up and kicking it up another level for you. Jimmy, man, it's a blessing and pleasure to have you here, man. You know what I'm saying?
My man, it's an honor and a privilege.
I appreciate you, man, for real. Having you here is a blessing. Seeing what you've been doing in the culture, you know, from when I met you, probably like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, in the 420 event, was it?
It was, yeah. So it was 420 last year, so you know, a little over a year, you know. But you know, that's just the vibes, you know what I mean? We feel like we've been locked in for a long time, you know.
For sure, for sure, definitely a vibe. I love what you got going on with the Seamoss. I seen recently you've had also a sorbet come out, right?
Man, so you know, last year on 420 was the ice pops, right?
Okay.
And I mean that came about because I had all the homies coming out from Cali. Everybody wanted to support.
Okay.
But I didn't really want to, you know, roll through Washington Square Park with a bunch of 16-ounce jars, glass jars and stuff. So I said, you know, I looked up some packaging. I said, let me water it down a little bit, figured out a little recipe. Okay. And I made the ice pops, and they went crazy to the point that I bought out all of the packaging from the place that I was getting it from.
Oh shit! Okay.
And I wasn't able to find them. So fast forward to this 420, I said, you know, I got to come back with something.
Okay.
And I found this company in Jersey. They do a sorbet product.
Wow.
I hit them up just to see if they wanted to collab and, you know, use my Seamoss and make a Seamoss sorbet. And boom, it worked like magic. And on 420, I mean, you see me, I was at the first smoke of the day brunch. I was in front of Higher Empire. I was in Washington Square Park. Yo, 420 was mayhem, bro. I was riding around New York City in a 15-foot U-Haul with 3 ice cream carts. I had 5, 6 girls working different locations.
It was amazing. I gotta big you up on that, man. That was, you know, from when I met you last year, you know, and you introduced me to the ice pops. Also, you gave me some at Astor. I remember meeting you back at Astor.
Yep, definitely.
I was like, wow, this is amazing, because I didn't like Seamoss at first. I tried it the regular way.
For sure.
The one thing I noticed you have different is key lime also. So it made it more pleasurable to take down with the key lime. And for some strange reason, yours is thick, you know, but not as thick as some that I've gotten.
Right.
I think, does that have to deal with the lime that you?
So there's a lot of factors to it, right?
Okay.
So, you know, for those that don't know, you know, Seamoss, and this is like some of the best feedback I get is people try other Seamoss, and it tastes like low tide. It molds quick. They can't even get it down. There's a ton of reviews. I get tagged every day and people doing reviews on Seamoss, and they like gagging trying to choke it down, and everybody tags me in it like, nah, get his Seamoss. His is smooth. I could eat it right out the jar. So I would say probably 95% or more of the Seamoss on the market is shallow water grown Seamoss. You know, they wild farm it. So like in Jamaica and St. Lucia and a lot of these places, they got ropes and things that just kind of float on the top of the ocean. And I mean, the Seamoss grows naturally in the ocean, but really where it gets majority of its minerals is from the rocks in the bottom of the ocean. So that's really where it naturally grows. So what they're doing is they're wild farming it. And you know, to set the record straight, a lot of people refer to that as fake Seamoss. It's not fake Seamoss. Okay. And until I see and do, which I'm in the process of doing some like real rigorous testing, because just like cannabis, right? We are able to test and see the percentage of THC and cannabinoids and all that on the side. I want to do the same with Seamoss and be able to show how many minerals.
Nice.
So, you know, people jump out the window with, oh, it's got 92 minerals because, you know, Dr. Sebi, much respect to him, you know, and everything, but people, the gimmicks is crazy with the Seamoss.
It's like, well, let me see. Okay, so 92 minerals, name me 10.
I got, listen, I see people doing the most with it, you know what I mean? And,
For
you
real.
know, I just stay in my lane, you know what I mean? Because it's a new, as much as Seamoss been around for probably thousands and thousands of years, it's a new thing to the market and to the everyday person. So it's like, you know, there's going to be a wave of, you know, like people just making it in their houses. That, you know, I'm sure big pharma and shit's going to come in and have some big corporate looking Seamoss and stuff. And then there's going to be people like myself that really like, you know, stand the test of time, provide a quality product, and are able to build up and move through the game.
I love that. I love how you just broke it down. Honestly, that's real right there, because, you know, you staying ahead by making sure the quality of what you're putting out is quality. You're not rushing it. You're not watering it down. And I didn't know half of the stuff you just put me onto was just amazing, man. I appreciate that. That's key.
So to finish that too, like the consistency and the quality of my product, right? So I get mine deep water, rock harvested. I got divers in Grenada, off the coast of Grenada, which is the South Caribbean, right?
Nice.
Where there is actually deep water. So like when people say they get it from Jamaica or St. Lucia, there's not really deep enough water there to get it. And like I said, a lot of people are doing the wild farm thing, right? I started my business with that, with the shallow water. It was coming from, you know, St. Lucia, Grenada, but like it was that shallow water. Clearly, like I could tell the difference
between shallow and deep water Seamoss.
I could tell the difference in how it rehydrates, you know, how it soaks, how it blends. So when I first started, I was using that, and I felt the benefits of it. So like I said, until I know exact mineral count, I'll just use round numbers, right? So like, I feel like that maybe had 30 minerals.
Okay.
When I got introduced to this stuff, I could tell by how quickly it rehydrated, because what holds water content is minerals. So it rehydrated super quick. The other one, you could soak that for like 24 hours, 48 hours. It wouldn't get any more.
It wouldn't. Oh wow.
It wouldn't soften. You know what I'm saying?
Activate the.
So it was a much thicker product. Like it was literally like you would scoop it and it was like scooping Vaseline.
Oh shit.
So when I got this one, I was like, wow, this is like going from like Vaseline to like, it's very, very liquidy. And I mean, it thickens up a little bit. And you know, some batches are a little thicker than others. My consistency is pretty consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like I get a lot of feedback on the consistency of the product, the taste, the actual consistency of it, and all that, which is beautiful. You know, because I got my recipe dialed. I got everything down to like exact how many grams of water, key lime, Seamoss, which is really my only 3 ingredients. But you know, like when I tried this for the first time, bro, my body lit up like a Christmas tree. And I had been using the other Seamoss for a couple years, so I was like,
you felt the difference already.
I felt it. So if I'm using this every day, like this is a part of my life. My son, you know, he's been using it since he's a baby, you know. So
amazing.
It's a beautiful thing, you know. And then the key limes, right? So the key limes, well, back it up, right? So it's got to be rinsed and rehydrated properly.
For sure.
You know, a lot of people don't rinse their Seamoss, clean their Seamoss well. So it starts with getting a great product, quality product, and then doing your due diligence, you know, rinsing it, rehydrating it properly, using good, clean, you know, natural spring water is great to scale up a business at this level. I invested in some like real high-end filters. So now it's, you know, triple filtered, real quality water. I pH my water, I test my water, you know what I mean? Make sure everything is A1. And then the key limes. You know, I got a good source of key limes. And a lot of companies use either lemon or lime, which key limes are the OG. That's the heirloom of the citrus right there. Okay. So like limes and limes and lemons actually come from key limes.
Oh wow.
So, you know, using that definitely makes a big difference. You know, I've had someone use my same recipe, same Seamoss, same water, same recipe, and use limes, and it just it didn't hit the same. Didn't hit the same at all.
It's so crazy how one ingredient, you know what I mean, and also knowing the right amount of that ingredient to put makes a difference.
For sure. And then, you know, like, and then I would say the last factor of that is energy, right? You know, and to relate it to cannabis. Me and you could get the same strain, have the same ingredients, you know, same SOPs, all that, right? But at the end of the day, your stuff is gonna come out different than mine. You know, it's your energy and my energy.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Not saying one's gonna be better than the other, but you know, it's just different. You know, we each put, you know, and I put a lot of love into my product, man. Like, I went from making this in my home to I got into a food incubator kitchen for a little bit.
Nice.
Then I started rocking out of my man's juice bar, and now, you know, a couple weeks ago I signed the lease. I got my own warehouse now.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Hold on, man. We
I
gotta clap it up to
appreciate
that
that,
one
you
right
know?
there. You know what I'm saying?
Got a warehouse.
Clap it up. For
I
my
just
man.
bought a new van last week. I'm getting it wrapped. You know, that's gonna get wrapped Seamoss sorbet. So, you know, look out for that on the road.
I love that, man. And
And,
that was, listen, seeing your 3 carts, right? Seeing your cart on 420. You remember I was like, yo, Jim, you out of here, baby. Because let me
Man.
tell you, the way you represent your brand and the way you carry yourself, and also, you know, enlighten people on the health benefits of this product,
Yeah.
is everything behind the way you push your brand.
I appreciate
You know what I'm
that.
saying? And the way you push your brand is official. You know, I love that. When I seen the cart, I was like, oh, nah, this is next level. My boy got the ice cream cart outside for 420.
Man.
That's when I knew. I said, damn, my boy Jim, you ain't playing with it. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
man. You know, this
From
is
1
my
year,
life.
in 1 year, seeing, you know, your growth from where you was to where you at now, it's nothing but motivation, man.
Nah, I
you know what I'm
appreciate
saying?
that.
I appreciate you too, man, because seeing where from where you took it to where you at now is a blessing, and you're only gonna keep growing. You know what I'm saying? And that's a
Definitely.
beautiful thing.
Definitely.
And
I'm just getting started here. You know
and the
what I mean?
fact that you also teaching, that's gonna help kids incorporate Seamoss,
Oh,
you know?
1000%.
So that the first thing I thought of is my kids. I try to give this to my kids, and
Yep.
the taste was, you know, they was like, they're going crazy.
Yeah.
I had to force it in my
you
daughter.
could hide it in some things, but yeah, you know.
That they know,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So being that you made a sorbet, my daughter loves sorbet. She doesn't like ice cream, she loves sorbet.
That's amazing.
So I was like, man, my kid's gonna be able to have some Seamoss finally. And then I thought about not just my kids, but all the kids in general. You know, their parents are on the health awareness, you know, and they wanna give their kids these things, but it's hard because the kids don't like it.
Right.
You just made it easy for them.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
So mid-July, I got pints
Okay.
and 5-ounce cups with a little wooden spoon in it, dropping. And I mean, you know, those that's for the kid. You know, I got a son. You know, my son's gonna be 7 years old in August. You know, and like,
love that, man.
That kid's my world. You know what I mean? Like, and his health from birth has been my #1 and only priority. I mean, I made his baby food. I was up at night steaming vegetables, you know, and you know, his mom would be like, oh, only one ingredient. And I'd be like sneaking hemp seeds and lion's mane tinctures in there
Nice.
and Seamoss. You know, I got introduced to Seamoss. He was a little older, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the future right there, bro.
Mhm,
You know, and if you could sneak a healthy product into these kids, like, this is a healthy alternative to ice cream.
Come on.
Like, I mean, I'm working on getting into these ice cream trucks over here.
Oh,
you
you
know,
definitely
like,
getting in there. Don't worry about that. That's for
oh,
sure.
for sure. You know, so mid-July, I got the pints and the 5-ounce cups dropping.
Nice.
You know, and all my progress, man, I'm so grateful, and shout out to everybody that, you know, anybody and everybody that supported me in this game. You know what I mean? Because the organic growth is like, I mean,
It's
that's
the most beautiful thing ever.
It's so beautiful. Like, man, I just took on a partner recently, which,
Okay.
you know, I had been putting out there for a year now. You know what I mean? I needed help growing this business, and I didn't just need money. I needed a partner that, you know, could help manage the back end and everything. And shout out to my man Dane. You know what I mean? He's, you know, we locked in, and in the last month, we've created so much magic already. I mean, we got the warehouse, we got the van, we got 2 ice cream carts.
Blessings, man.
You know,
Blessings.
we just locked in a plant-based World Expo, September, I think it's 17th and 18th at the Javits Center.
Oh my God,
Bro,
please.
I just got a 10 by 20 booth right in front. Like, I'm in there with Beyond Meat and Miyoko's Creamery, some of these big plant-based brands.
Nice, man.
I'm right in there, bro. Like, that's
a
that
beautiful
right there.
thing.
I'm coming out of that with, you know, with Whole Foods and nationwide distribution,
Yes,
man. Like,
yes.
that's where I'm going with it. You
I
know?
love it, man, and I see that. You know,
Yeah.
from the day that you know, that this 420 that just passed, when I seen you and, you know, people asking you, you know what, you know, how does it work? What? And then they try it and seeing their faces, bro, was priceless.
Yo, I sat behind those carts and just watched. And I was like, I felt like I was watching a movie, bro. I was like,
it's a beautiful thing,
like,
man.
I had 5 girls working. I had 2 carts pushed next to each other. I was like, I had a line going through the arch in Washington Square Park. Yo, I was bugging. I was like, wow, and watching people's reaction to it. Because, you know, some of the people that came up, they didn't even see the Seamoss. They just saw somebody eating ice cream. They wanted to, you know, wanted to eat it. You know, and then they're, oh, there's Seamoss in here. And, like, that's another thing, too, man. Like, I got a lot of integrity with my product. You know, so when people are like, oh, wow, I feel really good. Like, it ain't just a placebo effect. Like, I put, you know, in those ice pops, there was 2 tablespoons of Seamoss. You know what I mean? In a 4-ounce cup, which is what I was serving the scoops in, you know, there's a tablespoon and a half to 2 tablespoons of Seamoss in there. So there's really a daily serving in there. Like, that's what I want. I don't want somebody to just be like, oh, this tastes good and it's got Seamoss in it. Like, nah, I want
the daily serving that you're supposed to get, you know, for your health and the body to move and function how it is.
It's important, man. It's important. You know, and that integrity, you know, that's a key word right there. You know what I mean? You gotta have integrity with your product, you know, and that carries all the way through, you know. So like people could see and feel that from a mile away, you know. So back to that organic growth, it just, you know,
I love that.
And this is my lifestyle, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even selling Seamoss. Like, Seamoss has been a part of my lifestyle now for years, you know. Like, I got put on the Seamoss. My son was maybe 1, he's about to be 7, so, you know, I got like 6 years of making and using Seamoss for myself.
When did you, how long do you got with Jimmy the Green Giant? When did you start?
So the story of Jimmy the Green Giant is funny, right? People always ask how I got that name. So about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, I started my plant-based journey. I mean, we could go way back, but I dropped out of high school at 16 and got straight into the union, local 806. I was a union bridge painter.
Oh, wow.
Painted the whole Queensboro Bridge, top to bottom, in and out.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Word.
That's a risky fucking job. Not everybody has the balls to get up on those bridges and paint.
And you know what's funny? People always ask, like, oh, were you scared? Like, yo, I was 16 and my pops was like, listen, you either go to work or get the fuck out kind of thing. So it was like, I didn't have a chance to be scared. You know what I mean? It was,
all right.
You know, and this was the best job that I could get. You know what I mean?
Man,
like,
you make good money doing that, bro.
I mean, now first year apprentice is more than that, but like I started at like 16.10, then went up to like 24, 36. I mean, I ended at like $55 an hour, and that was base. And then you'd get, you know, I was always sandblasting or painting, so you'd get extra money and then time and a half, overtime and shit. So, but that was it was a dangerous but very toxic business and lifestyle, because like, you know, I was waking up every day 4:30, and like, if you weren't there, like if me and you are partners on a scaffold and I'm rocking one side, one motor, you rocking the other, if I'm not there, you ain't got a partner, and like, it just throws a wrench in the whole day, the whole operation. So like, I always said, like, the most stressful thing of bridge painting was just holding the job. Because like, yo, it didn't matter if you had the flu, there was no sick days. Like, if you called in or didn't make it, you might as well never go back, because you lost that job.
Holy shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Tough with it too.
So I was 18 on paper for the first 3 years in the union, because I started at 16, 17, and then 18, right? And I worked my way up through the apprenticeship pretty quickly. And, you know, my pops was a bridge painter, so like, I can't front. He got me the job. But when I tell you, that didn't help me once I got the job. You know what I mean? Like, I had to really work my ass off and make a name for myself, which I did, you know? Like, by the time I was 21, you know, like, my name was known that, like, you know, young, you know, my pops is Jimmy too, so like, you know, Jimmy Selleck Jr., they call, you know what I mean? Like,
cool.
You know, I could sandblast, I could paint, all this, whatever. So what got me out of that was a friend of mine had a cold pressed juice company. Now, this is like 10 years ago, when like cold pressed juice wasn't really like a big thing yet.
For sure.
So I had helped him out doing like some sales, deliveries and stuff like that. Ended up doing, what's funny is now I'm doing this expo for myself. I did an expo for his brand It was Expo East down in Maryland. And, you know, again, big natural food expo, you know, 60,000 people, thousands of vendors, all this stuff. And he came out of that. I got him, you know, nationwide distribution and stuff like that. And that was a big thing. But so I was always drinking green juices and eating these big salads. And I went from like eating meat to like craving just greens. And I would eat these big ass salads and drink these big green juices. And after the juice company, I started working for a production agency on 28th and Park. And my man John Hirsch, shout out to John, I spoke to him the other night. And, you know, he's somebody that was like, man, you know, I've been watching your growth for the last decade. You know what I mean? Like, much respect. He would always call me the Green Giant. He was like, yo, you like the Jolly Green Giant, you know, the frozen peas and canned veggie guy. So he was like, yo, you like the Jolly Green Giant. He was like, but you Jimmy the Green Giant. Yo, I dead went home and changed my Instagram name that day. I don't even remember what it was before. And changed my Instagram name to Jimmy the Green Giant. That shit stuck ever since, you know?
Wow, 10 years in the making, bro.
10 years, right? And
that's fucking crazy.
And even, like, I would say, what was it, like 2017, 2018, my man Brandon Alexander, who I'm actually wearing his shirt right now, shout out to him.
Shouts to him.
He did the JTGG logo and the circle Jimmy the Green Giant logo.
Nice.
He did it for me, and I didn't even have a product to put it with. He just was like, yo, like, you need a logo, you know, and like made me a logo, bro. Right? I had no idea what to put this with. And at the time I was moving and grooving in the cannabis industry, so like I had a pre-roll company. I had some products that I could have put it to, but it never resonated. It never felt right?
Gotcha.
So when I fast forward to end of 2020,
okay,
I was giving people jars, friends, family. Then people were like, yo, can I buy a jar? Yo, I'll throw you $20 for it. I'm like, all right, you know, like, cause I just had it in a jar. Okay. I didn't have no sticker on it, nothing. I was just giving people Seamoss.
Wow, look at that, bro.
And I was like, you know what? Let me put the circle on the top. Let me play with the logo. You know, I bought a little app on my phone. I made all the labels and everything.
This is amazing.
And it just all came together, and I was like, you know what? Jimmy the Green Giant Seamoss is what it is.
It's what it is, man.
And so that was end of 2020. I rocked all the way till I didn't really start picking up traction till like mid 2021. And I incorporated myself at the end of 2020, October 2021. So like that's when I really like start the clock. And that was right around the time too, like, not to get all through the story, but like after Bridge Painting, it was a juice company, then it was a production agency, then I took some of my annuity money from my bridge painting, went out west. I had a farm down south in Anza.
Wow.
Like, you know, a lot of people, you know, see me as a Seamoss guy now, and like people don't know like the real story. So, you know, it's nice to be able to kick it and talk about it. You know what I mean? This is the, you know, shout out to my man Fax right here, getting the first exclusive interview right here. You know what I mean?
For real.
But you know, I've grown. I've had products. I've, you know, managed warehouses downtown LA. You know, all the way from north to south. I lived in Malibu for years.
Wow, so that's dope, man, because we're about to get into the analysis that I was going to do with you, which is crazy now that I know that you grow. When did you start? When was your first time starting to grow?
So I bought a 4x4 tent offline, right? Bought a 4x4 tent. That had to be, damn. I want to say that had to be like at least 15, 16 years ago.
Shit.
And that was here on the island, you know what I mean? Like, I'm from Long Island. I'm out in Suffolk. And I bought it. I remember, like, DHL shipped that shit, right? I had it shipped to my man's crib, you know what I mean? Okay. And me and my boy Dan went and picked it up. I had a homie that I was bridge painting with. Shout out to Reggie.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, he had a house in Deer Park, and he was like, yo, my cousins live there, like, you know, ain't nobody gonna fuck with it, you know what I mean? They some real Haitian G's over there, you know what I mean? Okay. And they were like, yo, whatever.
Right. Sac passe.
Yes, sir. Yo, he was like, yo, the basement's yours. So boom, set that thing up in the basement, and then one of my foremans that I was bridge painting, because I was bridge painting at the time, one of my foremans gave me a pack of Greenhouse Seed Co. Like his man just brought it back from Amsterdam.
Wow.
A pack of greenhouse seeds. It was some train wreck. And they were all fem seeds, so like I think there was like 6 in the pack. I popped them things, and I had a 6-bucket hydro system, and so I set this whole thing up. I get the plants going, you know, I sprout everything, I get them going, and now I'm like, I need some guidance here, you know what I mean? I didn't have nutrients, I didn't have nothing. Sit there, and like, you know, this was like, I don't even know if I had an iPhone.
Yeah.
It was probably like an old, maybe BlackBerry or something,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
15
like
years
something.
ago? Shit.
Definitely wasn't an iPhone. And I was sitting there, I was like, all right, I gotta find like a grow shop or something. It came up so crazy. It was Sunflower Supplies, and it was in the middle of like a warehouse, like a bunch of warehouses. Like, all right, you know, I go driving through the parking lot, and on the Google Maps it said the number. I forget the number, but it said the number of what place it was. So I'm driving through looking for where the number is. I see the number on the door, and there was no stickers, no branding, no sign, no nothing. I knock on the door. Dude Ryan, who's now a good friend of mine, he owns LI Hydro out in Long Island.
Okay.
He opens up the door. He's like, "What can I do for you?" I'm like, "So I need some nutrients, you know, like I got a little 4x4." And he was like, "Say no more. Come on in. I got you." Walked in, and he hooked it up. I left there with everything that I needed. Left there with a little bit of knowledge.
At what age was this again?
How old was I?
Yeah, how old were you?
So I'm 36. So you figure I was probably like early 20s, 21, 22.
Nice.
And Ryan, you know, I was able to utilize him as, you know, a guide, you know, like he had some knowledge. I didn't have any, you know, so, and there wasn't much, like you could read through some forums and like, you know, back then, like you could find some information, but like to get that actual human interaction, I mean, that was super valuable.
For real.
So I stayed connected with him. I grew some shit that like, man, I wish I had an iPhone. I don't even have a picture of none of that. You know what I mean? Because,
that's crazy.
Yo, that train wreck was so crazy, potent, high times looking, beautiful bud. I could still close my eyes and smell it. And, you know, I did a couple runs of that. I gave my man the tent because I was bridge painting. It was just too much for me. So, like, I gave my man the tent. He ran with it. We set up a little thing at his crib. And then, so the relationship with Ryan is beautiful, too, because so I had been fucking with him for like a year or two, and then just wasn't going in there anymore because my man was growing, so he was getting all the nutrients or whatever, however he was getting it, ordering it, whatever. Now, back in the beginning of 2020, I had an opportunity to get a 400-acre property up in Vermont. It was an old dairy farm. Yo, I had investors, I had everything. I had millions on the table, right? We were gonna do a big, family-friendly cannabis resort, like winery-style experience, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. So I look up on the LI, right off the LIE on the South Service Road between 57 and 58 in Islandia. I kept seeing the sign. It had just popped up, LI Hydro. Oh, let me go in there. Hydro store, boom. I go in there, and it's my man Ryan's spot. I hadn't seen him in years.
And he owns a spot now.
And he owns the spot. Now he got a big warehouse. Like, he was in a tiny little spot. Sunflower Supply started in a tiny little spot.
Nice.
And, you know, he expanded that a little bit. But now, boom, I walk in. I'm like, oh, my God, this guy got, you know, he got a warehouse. Now he got 2 locations. He got one in Bethpage, you know, in Nassau. And, you know, he's doing big things, man. Shout out to Ryan. And so when I went in there, he was helping me get everything set up to do this big thing up in Vermont. And then, boom, COVID hit, quarantine, the property owner, you know, because I was trying to be back and forth because I was up there taking measurements, soil samples. I was, like, really going hard to, like, make this all happen. And she got spooked, like, you know, you got to spend, if you're coming up, you got to spend 2 weeks up here. If you're going down, you got to spend 2 weeks there. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to make this happen. I'm trying to buy your property from you, you know what I mean? Like, help me out. And finally, I was like, you know what? I just did what everybody did in 2020, man. I just stayed the fuck home. And I was like, you know what? I actually set up a little something close by, you know, just because I was like, you know what? I just want to grow a little chronic for myself. I hadn't grown in years, you know, except for out west. And even that, it was a couple years since I had grown.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Let me get a little something going. And did that. And it was cool and everything, but...
And then Jimmy the Green...
But end of 2020,
Seamoss.
it just... Everything was pushing me to the Seamoss. You know what I mean?
It was meant, bro.
And I was house painting with my uncle for a little bit. You know, he would pay me, you know, good money to come paint for the day because, you know, from years of bridge painting and house painting and shit, you know, I'm nice with the painting, you know what I mean? So I was house painting with him, but it was really, and this is some game for people doing anything, you know, like my business is where it's at because I put all my focus into this business. You know, you can't, for years I was running around trying to do a million things, you know, and you really can't. You really can't, you know what I'm saying?
Hard,
So
it's hard to conduct yourself when you're doing a lot.
when you're doing a lot, it's too much, man. So like, even like I had to pull back from house painting, and the second I told my uncle, listen, I got to put it all into the Seamoss, bro. Like my sales are up, you know, I'm over here rolling out walls and painting with you, thinking, damn, I need to be home soaking, rinsing, making Seamoss right now. You know what I mean? So I was like, I can't do this anymore. He you know, he respected it and supported it, obviously. Yo, the next day was like my biggest day in sales on my website. Like the universe was like, yes, here, boom.
Like, this is what you meant to do.
This is what
Jim.
you meant to do. And like, honestly, you know, I've had other little things pop up, and they pop up and they pop out because nothing is taken away from this Seamoss right now.
I love that, man. I love that.
And yeah, man, that's it right there. So you know, I've grown. I've hustled, man. I was back and forth. I've done it all, man. A to Z. You know what I mean?
At what age did you start smoking?
So, all right. So to back it all the way up, right?
Yeah.
At my son's age, my son's 6 years old, right? I was born in 87, so it was 90, 92, 93. I got introduced to Ninja Turtles at like 3-4 years old, right?
I love Ninja Turtles, man.
And
We from the same era. We
Oh,
from the same.
definitely.
So that's what's up.
I was introduced to Ninja Turtles, and I was always into skateboarding.
Okay.
Always into skateboarding, right? My first board was a little Ninja Turtle skateboard, and I grew up in East Northport, out in Long Island on the North Shore. There was this place called Pitch and Putt, and it was a big, like, you know, they got the dome, like sporting arenas. It was called Pitch and Putt. So they had 3 batting cages. You walked in and there was like a tiny little skate park. There was like a bank, a quarter pipe, a box, and a rail. That was it. And then there was 3 batting cages, and then there was mini golf.
Okay.
It was pitch and putt. That was their thing, right? The skate park really got no love there, no shine. So my mother and father saw the opportunity. The guy was getting rid of the mini golf. So my father was like, yo, we should make this a big skate park and, you know, see what it do, right? That was the birth of Northport Pipeline. So Northport Pipeline was my skate park. I was 6 years old. I got introduced to, you know, that's where I really got introduced to the culture that I love.
Okay.
Graffiti, hip hop, skateboarding, cannabis. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was smelling and seeing, and, you know, the big homies, everybody, you know, smoking bowls, smoking blunts, smoking
Facts.
joints and shit. Like, that shit was cool as fuck to me, you know what I mean? And it was all part of the same culture, you know what I mean? That skateboarding, hip hop, graffiti. I was always into graffiti. And so fast forward to, like, I was like probably 10, 11 years old. And I went up to my big homie at that skate park. My big homie Devin took me under his wing, you know, took me skateboarding, took me snowboarding in the winters. You know, he had a place up in Vermont. We would go, I would race dirt bikes up there. He got me my first dirt bike and shit. Well, my pops got me my first dirt bike. My pops got me like a little DS80. Devin hooked up like a nice KX100.
Got you
know,
really rock.
Got me really rocking, you know what I mean? And And it took me racing up there. I raced a bunch up in New Hampshire. And,
So that was, you was already riding when you first decided to smoke?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So I was 11, right? And Devin was always like, he would smoke around me, but he wasn't like, he was like, nah, you ain't smoking with me, you know, you ain't smoking until you're like at least 16, 17, you know what I mean? I think he even said 18, but, you know, there was some leeway there. And up in Vermont, I mean, he had plants out on his back patio, like, I mean, weed all over the table. Like, I was around it.
Wow.
And I was always a little curious, but it was on this one particular trip that I went up there, and I'll never forget. I was 11 years old, took a Greyhound bus. Imagine an 11-year-old kid nowadays. I took a Greyhound bus from here up to Vermont with like my skateboard and like a bag of motocross gear and like a duffel, you know, suitcase. Went up there, stayed up there with him for like a month, and every night he'd go to sleep. We'd watch kung fu flicks, we'd watch movies, you know, and he would go upstairs at the end of the night, and every night he'd be like, yo, don't touch my shit, I'll fuck you up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the big homie, so I was always shook. And he went upstairs one night, and I'll never forget, I think we were watching Kids, and then he went upstairs and went to sleep, and, you know, that was a very cultural movie, iconic movie, and they were smoking weed in there, and like he went upstairs and went to sleep. And one of my other favorite movies is Fresh. You ever see Fresh? Yo, come on, man.
Classic, baby.
Classic.
Movie. If you haven't seen it yet,
You
for
need
all
to.
y'all young ones out there and all
Yeah.
y'all coming up, Fresh will definitely teach you something about the streets we came up on. You know what I'm saying? It was
1,000.
definitely 100% what that movie was.
Definitely.
No bullshit.
Definitely. Definitely. A real movie.
For real.
And you know, and the main character is a kid. So, you know, I was a kid. So I'm like watching this movie, and I'm like, so first thing I see is his bong. I grab the bong, I put a little bit of weed in it, and I remember pulling it, and that initial like blub blub blub,
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, he's gonna hear me. So I put it down. And I grabbed a bowl.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the bowl, and this motherfucker, I don't know why he always had like a little box of like resin. Like he would clean out his bowl and save all the resin. So I just remember putting a little bit of weed in, and I was like, I'll put a little resin on it. And, you know,
Blast off.
early hash days, you know what I mean?
Blast
Black
off.
resin. And I hit that bowl and coughed my lungs up into this pillow, just praying to God that he didn't come downstairs and fucking Bruce Lee light my chest up, because that's what he would do. Light my chest would be bruised at all times. Anytime I stepped out of line, bah, 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 bah. And I smoked that bowl, and I just watched the rest of Fresh, and I was like, wow, all right, you know, I felt
this.
It felt a little elevated, you know what I mean? Now, fast forward, right? So I come down, my first job, real job, like I was always mowing lawns, babysitting in the neighborhood and shit at a young age too.
So you started at 11 smoking? Basically.
Yeah, 11. Then I came down. That was the first time ever I smoked. Then I came down. My first job was at Bike Depot, right up the block from me.
Okay.
And I was 11 years old working at a bike shop. And when I tell you, like, I was really working, like putting together bicycles, handling customers, money, this, that, and third. And one of the big homies that worked there was Chris. I was 11, 12 years old. Chris was like 28, you know, and him and his younger brother worked there. You know, his younger brother, Brian, I think, was like, you know, early 20s. So all my big, you know, and this is why, like, this is what made me who I am today, is being around older homies my whole life.
It's
you
wisdom.
know, 10 plus years, you know what I mean? Like,
Wisdom. A lot of wisdom around you.
at 6 years old with the skate park, I was around kids that were 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because you was the cool kid,
Yeah,
6-year-old kid
I
trying
was
to
little,
board.
I was little Jimmy, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so Chris, we're sitting there one day on, like, watching the TV that was in the back of the bike shop.
Yeah.
It was a dead day, and, you know, it was one of those dial TVs. You know what I mean? Like, you still had a dial on the shit.
Fucking
And we were
crazy.
watching, like, MTV or something, and he looked at me and he was like, I think he went outside for a second, he came in and sat down, and he was like, yo, Jimmy, you smoke weed? And I was like, yeah. Like, meanwhile, I'd only smoked that one time up in Vermont. And he was like, yo, here's the lighter. I left you something downstairs in the basement. So you walk out the back door. To the left was like those like storm door basement.
For sure.
And it was open. And I remember stepping down the stairs, and it was like the light was just gleaming. Like the sunlight was gleaming on this like perfectly tightly rolled little half a joint. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
And I was like, ooh, picked it up, sparked it up, and I was like, whoa. Now this is smoking. You know what I'm saying?
That was a different strain you got to try.
It was a different strain. It was a different experience. I wasn't, it wasn't like I was very nervous. I didn't want, my homie to hold,
yeah.
Like this was like a comfortable, I was like, oh, okay. Like, and then hitting the joint was different than the bowl. And I was like, wow. So I went upstairs, sat there, baked out of my mind. And
so that's the first time you really got baked off of Jay.
Yeah,
Is at 11.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I remember looking at him and I was like, yo, could I get some of that? And he was like, oh yeah, come on, bro. Like you the little homie, you know what I mean?
That's
like
what's up.
gave me a nice little Ziploc bag of it, right? I went home and my first thought was, yo, I could smoke half of this and I could sell the other half to my homies.
For real.
That was my first thought at like 11, 12 years old, you know what I mean? Was like, damn. So I remember, one of the homies was like, oh, yo, you got some weed? I was like, yeah, boom. So, give him $20 for a couple buds, whatever. And gave it to him. And the funny story about that is I remember checking back with him like a week or so later.
Yeah.
And being like, yo, you smoke that? And he was like, nah, bro, I don't have any way to smoke it. I was like, man. Everybody else, I would go wait at the corner store.
For sure.
At the bodega on the corner. And with $5, whoever would volunteer, but there was always this one old man that would come through, like get his little scratch offs, his tall boy and shit. And for $5, I would get 2 packs of bamboos and a pack of Marlboro Lights. And whoever was buying it for me, but this OG was always the one. He would get himself a tall boy. That was like his little payment for $5.
What the
2 packs of bamboos, pack of Marlboro Lights, and I would get the Marlboro Lights because I was selling Lucy's to people too.
All right.
And so I would get the bamboos, and this was the early days, and this will take us right into the homies that are, professionally rolling joints now, hand-rolled joints. But I would roll up for the homies. Because nobody, I could sell you weed all day, but if you didn't know what to do with it, what good is that?
Yeah, and I'm also a firm person to believe that if you don't roll the J proper, you're not gonna have the right experience.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So that matters, and we've been stressing that. Wow, man, you have a nice little journey. So you started at 11 smoking weed. That's part of your weed analysis. So we're running an analysis now.
Okay.
You started at 11. What was your first time getting caught, like, by a relative, or did you ever get caught?
Oh, man. Yo, funny story, right? So one of my best friends, Dan, I'll never forget. And my pops was slick, and I was stupid.
Oh, man, you got caught by pops.
You know what I mean? So the first time I ever got caught, so he said something about a lighter. I think he found a lighter. But the first time I actually got caught stoned, not even smoking. I don't even know if I ever got caught actually smoking.
But stoned, period.
But, me and Dan, 12 years old, me and Dan met in 6th grade, and I was in East Northport, he was in Northport, so we were in 2 different middle schools, but like we just clicked, bro. We met riding BMX, and literally the first time we met, I was like all the other homies were leaving, and again, he was hanging out with older homies, I was hanging out with older homies. So when we met, we were the same age. So we were like, oh shit, like we really fuck with each other. And like, you smoke weed? Yeah, I smoke weed. You know what I mean?
Cool shit.
And I was like, yo, you want to come back to my house for dinner? My mom's, family dinner was always a big thing in my house. So I was like, yo, you want to come back to the crib? He came back. Yo, I don't think he left my house for like 4 or 5 days. Like we just like, because it was
kicking
the beginning of summer. So like we kicked it.
Nice.
And
those memories.
We were kicking it all summer, right? And we would always ride our bikes across town to the other homie's house, go get baked, smoking fucking gravity bongs and making bongs and, all types of shit, right? We come back to my crib and we walk in, and my mom's she was like the Costco queen. She always had like the big packs of like chips and, oatmeal raisin, the oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oh,
and,
man.
the little Debbie joints and shit. So my house was the illest for munchies. So we go back to the crib, and we always used to hang out in my basement. We walk in. Yo, Dan leaves the front door open. My pops was like, yo, what do you live in, a barn? Shut the door,
shit.
boom. So we go downstairs, and he's like, yo, I'm going to go grab some chips and some munchies. I'm like, all right, cool. Yo, he comes back down with the box of the bag of chips, like all the, like, everything just stacked up, like looking like totally suspect, right?
Oh, shit.
All of a sudden, boom, my pops yells down the stairs, Jim, get the fuck over here. And I pop my head out and look up the stairs. He goes, you two were smoking the reefer. Yo.
You know that was OG talk, the reefer.
I was like, what? You two are fucking stoned. Your eyes are red hanging out of your head. Tell Dan to call his fucking dad right now, or I'm going to call him, la, la, la.
We got to light up to that.
Yo. That shit
So
was
what happened
so
with
funny.
Dan? What happened with
So
Dan
wait,
is that?
wait. So he tells Dan to either call his dad,
Yeah.
or go home and tell his dad. So Dan lived, not far. So Dan hops on his bike and rides home. Gets home, doesn't tell his father, right?
Yeah.
And passes the fuck out. So, we were fucking stoned. So
he didn't even...
So I think Dan's dad called my dad and was like, yo, is everything all right? And he was like, nah, these two were fucking smoking weed, la la la.
Oh, shit.
He was like, yo, Dan left his bike on like the front lawn, passed out in his room, shit. Yo, it was so funny. So, I was grounded for a little bit, and like, I feel like my pops after that, like, he had to have known, but, my pops was a hard worker. He was always working and shit. And, years later, I would say around like 15, my mom's hadn't smoked in years, and my mom started smoking weed again. And then me and my mom started smoking together. And it was,
great.
it was cool, you know what I mean? And, I always made sure moms was smoking good, because moms came from like the Reggie era, you know what I mean?
For sure. You'll be introducing them definitely to some good by that time.
Man, let's pause here. I want to pass you one of these right here. So this is from my man Like Mike over here.
Shout outs to Like Mike.
Yes.
And shout out to my guy, man, Jimmy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Putting me on to Like Mike. Y'all see what it is,
Like
man.
Mike. So this is, I believe he said this is the Gary Payton permanent marker little blend right here.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yo,
man. You know it's real when you could just smell it off just opening the top.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I have a bunch of these tubes empty around my house, in my car and shit. You could pop them open from months ago.
And still smell
They
them.
still smell like candy, bro. It's amazing.
Come on, you know it's real
But,
when you...
when you
Come
talk
on
about
now.
experience too, you know what I mean? Like, you talk about experience of the joint, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are tightly rolled. I even do a little, like a cigar, kind of like, you got to work it in a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
But yeah, my man Like Mike, you know what I'm saying? Everybody want to roll like Mike.
Shit. I give it to him.
Yo, yeah, no, he does his thing, I met him, actually, when I walked down, I was in Miami for Turk Basel, and I walked into Tony Mendo was smoking on the snacks from Preferred Gardens, and Mike does the rolls for them, and Tony was like, yo, you gotta try this, Jimmy. Boom, he passed me the joint, and I was smoking it. I was like, wow, the snacks from Preferred Gardens. Preferred Gardens, I mean, shout out to them, bro. They got it. They definitely,
shouts to Preferred
definitely one of the
Gardens,
top cultivators in the game. Dave and his whole team. It's beautiful to see the teams. You know what I mean? Like,
For real.
Preferred Gardens, Turpogs, Doja, Ember Valley. You know what I mean? This is my people's right here. And
Shouts to Dave. Dave, definitely super hospitality, man. He showed me nothing but love when I went out to SAC. They had this event.
Yep.
I got a chance to see how they flow, man. It was
Yeah.
awesome. He treated me right. He got me in, showed me some love, gave me some goodies. Made me feel like I was home, man. So shouts to Dave and the whole crew from Preferred Gardens. Always love, man, for real.
Definitely, mad love to them. You know what I'm saying? I just sent them. Your Seamoss went out today, so and these are the homies too. You know what I mean? Like, I send them Seamoss, but I got love for people who support without asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dave just placed an order. You know what I mean? Like, it's good peoples. But yeah, so Tony passed me the joint. I smoked at Snacks, and that was they're Florida grown. You know, they in a couple states now doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing it real big. And Mike was standing right there, and I didn't even know who he was or you know, anything really. And he had a jar of these and was like, "Oh, here, bro." Gave me like 4 of these joints. I was like, "Damn, bro, you giving me like 3-gram joints over here?" And then Dave, I met Dave later on that night. Dave, you know, over the next couple of days at the whole Turp Basel event, you know, it was a couple-day event. He just, anytime he seen me, was throwing me joints. I actually was leaving the Pheno flight the first night, and I go to leave, and my man's like, "Yo, you got something to roll up?" And I'm like, "Actually, like, I flew to Miami. I knew I was going to see the homie, so I didn't really bring anything."
Damn, man, I just missed you then at the Basel. With last year's, not this year, last year's, right?
Yeah.
That's when I really got to meet him before I even met him at his spot.
At the pool?
We actually met at Art Basel, and we wound up, I met him on a yacht, actually. We went on a yacht cruise.
Okay.
We met in the middle of fucking Miami, in between Miami and fucking Cuba. We was in the middle of the ocean somewhere there. And let me tell you, that experience was crazy. Shout outs to Doja, the whole Doja gang, and Dave from Preferred Gardens. Those guys showed me an amazing time that, you know, on the yachts, man. I
got some cool
shit.
organic footage of shout outs to the homie Cody, I think that shoots for First Smoke of the Day. Shout out to Pat God. He it was just an ill clip of we were at that like restaurant on South Beach for the Turp Hogs Pheno flight.
Okay.
And we were like right by the corner of the pool, and Pac was walking up, and Dave was walking up, and I was walking up, and we all met like right there, and it was just some like cool organic content of all 3 of us meeting. And I had a bag with the ice pops on me, and Dave walked up like, "Man, I can't fall in this pool." I was like, "Yo, somebody gonna fall in this pool tonight." And the 3 of us all, you know, I was like, "Oh, what up?" You know, I introduced myself. I'm Jimmy the Green Giant. Dave was like, "Oh, you know, I know who you are, bro." Like, you know, and it was cool, you know, that like, it's cool to, you know, that my name is going around in a healthy, positive,
for sure,
organic way. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a beautiful thing, man.
But yeah, I got some cool content of that, and yeah, Dave, you know, Dave's a homie, but all these people, man, you know, I brought, you know, I had to display the homies, you know what I mean?
For sure, man, that's love.
I got all the Z out here, Turp Hog, shout out to Tony and John Doe and Fields, you know. I got history with these guys, and you know, Marijuana Talk right here. You know, that's my peoples right there. Like,
he's Long Island. For sure. Shouts to Marijuana Talk, man. He's doing this thing. Been doing this thing since the New York Growers Cup to the ZA Olympics, man. Yep. Congratulations to him and everybody, all the winners. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing.
Definitely.
The culture is nothing without you guys, and I always stress that.
That's a fact.
The culture is nothing without our growers, man. So always respect the grower and understand that sometimes their batches might not be all that, and every grower goes through that. You know what I'm saying? So don't lose sight on that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has to go through a process growing these strains. Each strain has a different process. You know, they deal with different climates, different environments. And as a grower, they all got to learn, you know, what it takes to grow a specific strain that they might be growing in the environment they're growing. So respect the growers and show them love at all times. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. You know what I mean? And you know, conversation, I feel like that comes up a lot lately too with growing is, you know, the best grower in Cali is not the best grower in New York and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I said to somebody the other day, nobody got a bigger ego than a fucking weed grower. You know what I'm saying? And everybody got to chill, man, and, you know, respect the grower.
For
you know,
real.
From grower to grower, everybody should be really rocking together. You know, you know, we need Turp Hogs to come over here, get with Marijuana Talk, and, you know, and build up over here. We don't got the same climate. We don't got the same, you know, I've heard Ryan talk about it, Doja, you know, many times about, you know, how his weed in Miami, you know, you open the bag, I mean, that humidity in the air plays a big factor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
big factor.
That shit won't burn right. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors, man. And, you know, people be real hard on
the grower,
on the grower, on the strains, on the brands. You know, everybody out here just trying to Everybody out here just trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? So
This is fire, bro.
yo, I mean, this
This shit tastes crazy. I don't want to stop smoking. You see it? Shit. So we got that. We got you started at 11. Your first time getting caught was by Pops.
Yup.
Right?
Yup.
What's a memorable strain for you back then that
All right.
really caught your attention and was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like,
So
change your whole perception of terps.
yo, I was fortunate enough to have the big homies to where like I missed the reg era.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people around our age,
sure.
our time, first thing they smoked was some regs.
Some Reggie for sure.
You know, like that's a big thing. And like, yo, I started smoking some Dro. You know, like Dro
Dro was it.
Dro was it. You
Dro
know?
was it.
And then I feel like I went from Dro to like, yo, there was this kid in my town. Yo, shout out to him, man. This kid would take the train from Long Island and go uptown Harlem. And out of, 10 trips, he'd get robbed on 9 of them.
Damn.
But he went up there to get that haze, bro.
He was determined.
He was determined. And yo, he got that haze. People say they got that haze. I know that haze, bro. That haze, and he had it in the cubes. He had it in the tubes with the cork. You know what I mean? Tell me this ain't a delicacy right here, bro. This is how I want to smoke all day, every day.
Look at the ash. Look at the roll.
And yo, that ash is so tight, bro. Like I've smoked this thing almost to the end without even ashing it. That shit, you could go like that, and that shit won't ash. But yeah, homie went and got the haze, and haze was a good introduction. There was something, I don't even remember what it was. It was kind of like a haze, but we had some shit we used to call pepperheads back in the day, kind of like a haze. But I'll tell you, the first real terps that I got memories, like I could close my eyes and taste it, right?
What's that?
So I had one of my homies, super Italian kid, his cousin in Brooklyn was giving us, I was probably like 15. His cousin was giving us blueberry and juicy fruit. And that blueberry, if you had a little dime in your pocket, bro, the whole room smelled like a blueberry pie factory. That shit was insane.
That's amazing.
Like I was selling probably like 0.4s for like $20 back in the day.
So that was your signature strain that caught your attention, the blueberries.
The blueberry, it was the same thing. It was blueberry and the juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit was good as fuck.
The juicy fruit smelled like a pack of juicy fruit bubble gum.
That's a fact.
That shit was
I
crazy.
was always, we were young, so we didn't even fucking worry about lineages and shit like that.
Right.
It was like, oh, this fucking juicy fruit and shit. But now I think about it, I'm like, damn, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's crazy. We were just smoking shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, bro.
it was different for us. We were, New York is different. Like, we were
didn't
just
have
getting
the knowledge.
Yeah, we didn't have the knowledge.
See, like kids coming up at our age out in Cali, like they had the OG growers to know a lot more about the weed. All we knew was weed. Roll it, light it, smoke it, pack it. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know really the
deets,
deal.
all the deets. Like,
we didn't know.
We didn't know
like,
that.
oh, blueberry, dope. Smells like blueberry.
Smells like blueberry. Let's fucking smoke.
Tastes like blueberry. Let's smoke this shit. You know what I mean?
Cool.
But the blueberry and the juicy fruit, really, that was it, man. And then like sour and haze always was a big thing.
Nice.
Sour, sours and headbands and stuff like that. Like, and then OGs. But I mean, that was. Yeah, that juicy fruit and that blueberry.
I remember the
about
juicy
that.
fruit.
I
And
talk
I
about
remember
that
the
all the time.
blueberry, so that's crazy.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time. Because I remember, like, bro. And see, that's the thing, too. Like, these strains nowadays, right? You could take the most potent strain in the game right now, and I would put a nug of that blueberry up against it, or like some sour. Like, that shit smelled. you know, if you had it in your pocket, you smelt that over everything. Nowadays, you could open up, you know, the most fire strain, you could open the whole turkey and smell. You got to, like, stick your head in the bag. And
That's a fact. Back then, it was just...
Back then, it was, that shit smacked you in the
fucking
face.
bag.
You know what I mean? Like, it was
Cool.
a beautiful thing, beautiful time.
So, here's another one of them. Now, what's a pet peeve for you? For me, it's people who fucking don't know how to smoke or wet the tip of the fucking spliff with the, you know?
So
it's funny because one of the guys from Delicio was talking about that. I think it was Rick. Shout outs to Rick Delicio. He was like, yo, I fucking hate motherfuckers who fucking wet the spliff. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh shit, that's one of my questions on the pet peeve, which is crazy.
I mean, this ain't even because of like you know, COVID type thing. Like I've always liked to just roll my own. You know what I mean? Like shit, if we sitting down, bro, like I would have. If I didn't have these two, I'd be more than happy to roll one for me, roll one for you. You know what I mean? Have your own experience with it. You know what I'm saying? But so my pet peeve over the years always had to do with rolling, and that's why I was always the roller. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always the roller, bro. Like, you know, when we switched from, you know, like I said, at 11 years old, I was rolling up bamboos for the homies.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got into blunts and Dutches, I was always the blunt roller, you know, or if somebody tried rolling a blunt and cracked it, fucked it up, they'd be like, yo, Jimmy Q doctor this shit. You know what I mean? Like I was always that guy. And, yo, there was one homie who would roll these blunts and you know, you got the homie that slobber all over the leaf.
Oh, man,
you know, that
do
blunt,
too much.
The blunt would be like this.
Fucking
like,
leaning on the roll,
yeah,
like you take a pull, it folds.
Nah, so
yeah,
like,
man.
So, you know, I would say my biggest pet peeve is how people smoke, how people roll. You know what I mean? Like,
etiquette.
Etiquette, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
especially with, yo, if I pass you something like this, man, like, you got to look at this like a cigar, not a cigarette.
For sure.
And a lot of people, I feel like, you know, they just do like a, you know, just a quick, you know, pull, and it's like, yo, enjoy this. It ain't going nowhere.
Facts.
I'll tell you right now, none of my joints is gonna go out. So you could let this thing sit. I've had a joint, you know, I pulled up into like, you know, supermarket, pulled up at Whole Foods real quick with a half a joint, puff on that thing. I always leave it in my mirror, so if anybody's ever sees my car, there's usually a joint in the mirror right there. But you know, I've left it like ran in the store for a minute, come out and the shit still smoke. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
You know, if it's rolled proper, you know.
Rolling matters.
Rolling matters.
Another episode where we tell you this.
Boom.
Rolling matters.
That'd be a good episode.
Matters.
You know what? You got to get like Mike and some of these kids on here, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. That'll be, listen, man. It'll be a blessing. You know what I mean? This is dope. Shout out to Like Mike. I definitely would love to have him on here. Look at this, man. This is unique.
Yeah. So while we on Like Mike,
man,
look at this beautiful tray right here, right?
Yes, that definitely caught my attention.
Yeah.
Yo, Mike.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to you on that tray. I need one, man. Please.
That tray. Yeah,
please.
we got to hook my man Facts up right here.
And Jim, you one of the guys that I say got, yo, you got a lot of heady toys, man. A lot of heady things. Like, I respect that, man. You got the tray with the, you know, with the fucking joint holder.
Oh, easy. You know,
What's
shout out to CGO, right?
CGO, man.
He hooked up, right? Yeah, look.
What's that?
So this is a hash hole press. So boom,
shit,
right here.
man. Yo, shout out CGO, man. He blessed me for the Olympics, man. Had me getting right.
So
wow.
So you know, you put your paper down, put your box down, put your weed in, tamper it down a little bit. It's got the little line in there, so you can lay a nice little hash hole in there.
Wow. Nah, that's tough.
I mean, you know.
Get you hash hole ready.
Yeah, get you hash hole ready. You know, shout out to the homies that are rolling.
Shout out
proper,
to the homies. CGO,
proper.
Like Mike. No, proper.
And you know, I gotta bring out the homies because you know a lot of people. You know, I spent years in the cannabis industry. You know, and like dipped for a little bit and then came back as the Seamoss sorbet guy. So it's like, you know, I still got all the homies. I still got all the love, and you know, shout out to everybody that Terp Hogs. I got mad hash here.
This
right
is
here.
all my guy Jimmy, man. So
yeah,
shout out to all the brands he got up here. Shout out to Doja.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Doja's the homie. I go way back with Ryan. You know what I mean? Pre-can era. You know.
Shit. Shouts to Ryan, man. Shouts to the whole Doja gang. Who else we got there? Terp Hogs.
You know, I got to shout out Ember Valley too. Like,
Oh man, listen, shout outs to Ember Valley. I haven't had some of this stuff lately, but let me explain something to you. I definitely remember them um, when I started my podcast.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Amber Valley in 2021,
Yep.
2020.
Yo, listen.
They was killing it, bro.
They coming back with it. I mean,
I like
they ain't going nowhere.
They
but,
never left. Yeah,
but,
the thing
but
is,
they coming with a vengeance right now,
Okay,
bro.
I like to
Shout
hear
out to
that.
Ember Valley.
I like to hear that.
I got some stuff on the way. I will most certainly put some aside for you.
I appreciate that.
But yo, they came out here, showed me mad love, and you know, like some of the homies I just connected with through the other homies. Like Ember Valley found me through Ryan.
Nice.
You know, they seen Ryan post my jar, and you know, they started ordering some Seamoss and hit me on Instagram. Yo, we coming through. We'll be in New York. La da da. And I was like, bet. You know, pull up to Astor. I'll show you some. You know, listen. When anybody come to town, if you know whether you fam or not or whatever, you hit me up. You tap in. Like, I'm an excellent tour guide. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna smoke good. You go to Astor Club. You know what I mean? Lounge out. You know, pop into the right spots. You know, for food, plant-based king over here, you know what I mean? I know all the good restaurants, but, you know, I'm going to definitely, if I got the pick, I'm going to take you to some plant-based shit right there, you know, and it'll probably be one of the best meals you ever had. And you could ask Ember Valley because, you know, they could vouch for that. I took them to Planta in Midtown, Japanese-inspired, plant-based, like, sushi and certain dishes, places. Crazy. Crazy, yeah. No, I'll definitely take you there. But, you know, in Marijuana Talk, Preferred Gardens, Terpogs, you know, like I connected with Fields years ago, and right around the time I connected with Ryan, probably connected with both of them around the same time, and you know,
that's what's
solid peoples, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Seth. I got Seth's rehash jar right there. Seth Zabner.
Okay.
You know, he threw me one of those, and then you know I got the Jimmy the Green Giant Seamoss right there. You know,
slowly, right?
You know, we promote our own brands and stuff, you know.
So what's one of your favorite things? Damn, this is amazing. That's another shout out to like Mike. This is really good. This is our permanent marker again. What was it?
Gary Payton permanent marker.
Ex Gary Payton. Yep. This is what this is the strain we reviewing today, and let me tell you, man, this is amazing. This blend that you got going on here, Mike. Overall, man, A1, baby. No cap, A1. Definitely flavor.
And shout out to him, bro. You know, he overnighted me the shit, you know,
wow,
for the show.
Man,
you
listen.
Know, made sure I was kitted up.
This is amazing. Just the blend alone got me like, you see it. If you watch the episode, you see how I'm chiefing on this, man. You see it.
Oh, yeah. Great, you smoking way quicker than me. I'm over here in cigar mode.
Great roll. Doesn't burn, not harsh on the throat. I love the whole organic tip with the flow on the inside. Amazing, man. You know what I'm saying? So really appreciate you, Jim, bringing this through and definitely allowing me to experience the Like Mike experience, baby.
There was no other way I was coming on this show. You know what I'm saying? I was either going to roll you one or, you know, I was able to hold down one.
Wow.
From my guy.
All right, cool, man. So we got the analysis on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did I get what's one of your favorite things smoking right now so far?
Favorite thing smoking right now. So
what's one of your favorite strains overall?
Okay.
Overall, that because for me it's Z. I could smoke that shit from when I wake up to go to sleep, wake up, back again, all around the clock. So that's like my favorite.
All day. You know, like I would say one of the best time periods of smoking for me was I was getting Skittles straight from Terpogs, straight from Fields and Tony. You know what I mean? Classic burner line. You know, I only smoke Skittles if it come from Tony.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. Tony Mendo, brilliant guy, great energy, got mad love for him. You know what I mean? Guy's just oozing with game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll call me up, hit me with some ideas and things on the Seamoss and sorbet. I'm like, yo, this guy's just full of game. But and then Lemon Tree. You know, I really like Lemon Tree.
I gotta give you a motherfucking.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
I gotta shout out Lemon Tree because like, so and I was getting the good like, and just to be clear, right? Mm-hmm. When I'm saying I'm getting Skittles and Lemon Tree at this time, that shit was depths, and that would shit on anybody's indoors at the time. You know what I mean? Like, yo, listen, I'll smoke Tony Mendo's fucking little hoop house on the side of his crib over anybody's indoor. I'll just say it like that. You know what I mean?
Tough.
Like,
that's tough.
Yeah,
Packed with flavor, you know?
it's packed with
Packed
flavor.
with
I mean,
flavor.
even like somebody I don't have any products of, but shout out to him because he always shows mad love and sends me, you know, a ton of gear. Is Jelly Wizard. You know, he was on, I think it was First Smoke of the Day. You know, his rosin.
Shouts to First Smoke.
Outdoor, you know,
Shouts to First Smoke. Hey, word up, love.
Yeah, you know?
That show love. Love is love, baby. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, like, yo, shout out to them, bro. I launched the Seamoss sorbet, and like literally that night, they invited me to do the brunch.
Oh,
You
man.
know?
Fucking tough, bro.
Like, come on, who launches a brand and then, you know,
know what I
same
mean?
day gets invited to do, you know, something like that, you know? So
Legendary.
it was dope. But Jelly Wizard, you know what I mean? Like, he's got great products, yo. I gotta say, and I left it in my car, but the Zeus pods, as far as pens,
Oh, man.
I never really like carts or anything, right?
Me either.
But the Zeus pods got it, and then Jelly Wizard, his hash rosin disposables,
I haven't got to try those,
bro,
bro.
those things are A1.
Wow.
Like, you really feel like you're not just doing a dab, but you feel like, you know, I personally, I don't dab often, but if I dab, obviously I got quality. But, you know, I do little dabs for, you know, for flavor. You know, I really like if I can't find some terps that I like, I'm hitting a dab. You know what I mean?
So another question I got for you.
So wait. To answer that, I would say Z is at the top.
Okay.
Lemon Tree, but I haven't had Lemon Tree in years, so like that kind of came and went. That was a short period of time. Z I've had.
Yo, Archive got something close. That's
Yeah?
really good. Yeah, Archive.
Actually, you know what? Let me shout out Foo's Flowers.
Fools too.
What was it? The Lemon Ace.
Oh, I didn't get to try that.
Not a lemon, you know, lemon tree in it, obviously, but that Lemon Ace was fire.
Okay.
I fuck with that. I got that. That was a recent strain that I actually really enjoyed. And then I would, you know, right up there with Z, I would say I had a headband that my homie was growing in downtown LA. Bro, I would do horrible things for that cut, bro. You know, because here's the thing, right? And here's how I would describe it. Because headband is sour and OG. It was such a mind fuck that if I came to you with a turkey and was like, yo, Fax, I got this fucking bubonic sour right now. Sour diesel. Boom. You looked at it, you'd be like, Jim, this is a crazy sour diesel right here. This has got it, right? If I came to you the next day and was like, yo, Fax, I just came up on this OG. Look at this. Boom. You'd be like, yo, this some real deal OG. It was so crazy because it was the best of both worlds. It really was. That was the best headband. The Rocket headband. You know? Bro, I had some batches that were heavily seeded that I fucking just smoked pounds of because it was that good.
Shit.
You know? But yeah. So those strains, you know, Z's at the top, bro. I could smoke.
That's what's up,
And
man.
Z is like, you know, I mean, come on, man. You can't name a strain that's out right now that don't have Z in it. You know?
Z is, to me, that shit is coming up over here in New York City, to keep it real.
And you know what's funny about that? When I connected with them, and I would get a pound of Skittles, get it over here, and I would end up smoking majority of it because you couldn't give that shit away to people.
They weren't aware of it.
They had
like that.
no idea.
No idea.
I would show
And
people.
the look of it is another thing that used to throw them off. Like, oh, I don't got. Now they be looking for colors and shit. And I be looking at them
Bro. And I mean,
bro.
just the structure of Z is not what people like to see. But bro, I would get
Smoke.
back here and people would be like, yo, I dead ass would have people be like, oh, yo, I could grow better weed than that in my fucking closet. I'm like, oh, okay.
Have
You know what I mean?
even tasted this? Do you even terp?
But their palate wasn't there
Like we
either.
do?
But their palate wasn't there either. I could roll one of these, pass it to somebody, and they'd be like, you know, they weren't there with
Their
it.
palate's not there.
Now, I mean, now look at the game. East, West, North, South, worldwide. You know what I mean? Like, Z is big over in Europe. You know what I mean? Z is big everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know? I mean, but shout out to Terpogs. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, it's tricky with strains because anybody could take a plant, clone it, name it, you know, la da da da, and, you know, call it their own thing. But the fact of the matter is Z is in everything. So, you know, shout out to Terpogs.
Word.
My fucking guys.
Shouts to them.
Keep me laced, you know what I mean? I need another jar.
For real.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
That's
man.
what's up, man.
So what was next on let me hear.
All right, so now we're going to go into the trivia, man. I get everybody with this one right here, man. So, you know, before we close out the show, we always do the little trivia. I ask people a couple questions from stoner movies.
Yep.
So I know you're aware with all the stoner movies that's done come out, you know what I'm saying? So this is what we do. But I have a question that I like to ask people to see where their mind is at, you know what I'm saying? So before we jump into that, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think we ever landed on the moon, bro?
Okay. So it's funny because I have this conversation with my son, right? My son he loves the Jurassic Park movies. Kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're great movies. I believe in aliens. I don't believe in dinosaurs. I don't believe dinosaurs ever existed.
Okay.
I don't believe dinosaurs ever existed. Do I believe that we landed on the moon? I don't believe that, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, I don't believe that they went to the moon. I really don't think that they did.
Okay.
I think that was all staged.
Mm-hmm.
I think we as a people, who, when, Russia, us, I don't know. But I believe we've been around.
One of us made contact and maybe they was like, oh, yo, we can't go back.
It's crazy because I just
we don't have no footage.
I just seen some shit about Buzz Aldrin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how he discovered some shit. There's been a lot of things on Antarctica, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that.
You know, he went down there. He said what we thought out, you know, is basically like not good. Like we fucked up. And then the man had a heart attack.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it's funny because me and my son, we just watched the new Transformers. We went to the movies the other night, but we've been catching up on them. And I mean, in those movies is, you know, the aliens, you know, the Autobots and the...
For sure.
You know, the Decepticons, they crashed in Antarctica and they just
that.
defrosted that shit. You know what I mean? So, like, they hide shit in plain sight, bro. You know, you just got to pay attention.
I like that. So now we get into the trivia. I love that we did that because I asked everybody, you know, in the last few episodes that I've had, it's interesting. Some people believe, some people don't.
Yep.
And it's just to see, you know, scientific question to see what people think.
I like that.
Just to squeeze one in there for the science people.
I like that.
So now let's get into the movie trivia, man. So I know you watch How High and you watch all these old school movies because we come up from the same area, from the same era. Sorry. Here's my first question for you, man. Coming from the movie Half Baked.
Ooh, good one.
All right. What was the name of the first business they started to help their man get out of jail?
Oh.
What was the name of the business line they started to save Kenny's sweet little ass?
Oh my God. Yo, I feel like if I'd have known it, I'd have known it.
He had to go talk to Samson. You know what I mean? And then he said, how can I come up?
So, it was Mr. Nice Guy.
There you
It
go.
was Mr. Nice Guy. You know what? It threw me off because I was like, wait, I didn't know if, I haven't seen that in a minute. So I didn't know if they started another little business before they got to Mr. Nice. But yeah, Mr. Nice Guy.
I like that, man. We got to give it to my man Jamie on point, man. All right. All right, so question number 2 I have for you, right? In the movie How High with Red and Meth, what was Red and Meth's name?
Silas and Jamal. Come on, man.
All right, well,
Come
man.
on, man.
Bro.
Silas and Jamal. Shout out to Method Man and Redman.
You heard? Shout out to Red and Meth,
You
man.
know,
Super
I'm trying
dope,
to
man.
get them. I'm trying to get them some Seamoss. You know what I mean?
So
I know
let's get
Mets on his health game, plant based and shit.
Yes,
y'all
sir.
super buff and shit, doing his acting thing.
I
And,
like that, man.
No, Redman, one of my favorite. Redman is probably my top favorite artist all
Come
time.
on, Muddy Waters, baby.
That Muddy Waters.
Oh, we gotta give a round of applause
Shout
to
out
that.
to Reggie Noble, Funk Doc.
Uh-huh. You know, hip hop's 50th anniversary was not too long ago, so shouts to the hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
That's what's up. All right, so question number 3 I have for you, man. You rocking out there, man. In the movie that Harold and Kumar, what was the girl's name that Harold was obsessed with?
Ooh. That you got me with.
I mean, you're ahead of the game, so at this point right now, you can guess one, you know?
I honestly, I couldn't even take a guess. I couldn't even guess that. That wasn't a movie, like I watched it, definitely seen it a few times, but like How High and Half Baked, I've probably seen them like, 10,000 times.
Yeah, you was the
each.
fastest person to answer those
Yeah,
questions. Besides, I think who was it? Zach Woods. I can never forget.
Okay.
He was fucking knocking them shits out. I was
Okay.
like, damn, like, why did I even ask you those? Like,
Yeah, my man Dan, he gonna watch this. He knows. You know, we watched How High. That was our shit. I didn't Half Baked. I feel like Half Baked when we first, because we were like 12, and then How High came out like, we're probably like 14, whatever. Yup.
all right, so it starts with, I'm gonna give you a hint, man. It starts with an M.
Okay.
Her name starts with an M.
Oh, her name starts with an M. Is it Mary Jane?
Maria.
Maria.
That's a good try, though, man.
Yeah, it was a stoner movie. I went with the obvious.
Try to still with you, man. All right,
I
so
went
you
with the
up.
obvious.
All right, so another question I got for you, right, is another movie from another question from there, man. I'm gonna make it a little tricky. In the movie Harold and Kumar, you know they got high, ran out of homie's crib.
Right.
They decided to get high in the woods.
Right.
What animal did they encounter and ride through the woods?
Oh, shit. Is it a horse?
I'm gonna give you one more chance, man.
A cheetah.
All right, my man got
I
it.
knew if it wasn't a horse, I knew it was a cheetah.
Shouts to my guy, Jim. He up, man.
Boom.
All right, man. So one more question I got for you, right? In the movie, How High, what was the name of their friend that passed away and helped them pass the test?
Man, I should have been put with me. I'm a ghost.
Yeah. He said, even if I get ran over by a bus, my hair on fire, I'm gonna be there for you, man.
Wow, I'm stumping myself right now. It's like Mike joint got me. Hang on.
I'll give you a hint.
I can hear Method Man saying it.
I'll give you a hint, man. Rastas loved that kind of, back in the days, that kind of Chiva. They even had Chiva named after it.
Oh my
Just
God.
like Red and Meth.
Right. Fuck. Damn, I can't believe I'm so stuck on this.
Wow, you answered the name faster than
I know, right?
That's the toughest one.
Silas and Jamal. I could hear Method Man saying it.
They seen him in the bathroom.
Reggie? Nah.
Damn, man.
Nah, what's his... Oh, you gotta hit me.
Ivory, man.
Ivory. That shit is the Ivory, son. Shit.
Crowd still with you, man.
Damn.
Crowd still love you. But you did
Damn.
good, man. You got, out of 5 questions, you got
That was a
3
good
right.
question.
You know what I'm saying? So you did your thing, you know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you, man. That's the Wake and Bake Show right there for you, man. Jim, I appreciate you coming through, enlightening us on your journey, man. Keep doing your thing. I love what you got going on with the Seamoss sorbet. It's been a pleasure and honor having you here, man. Any shout outs you want to give out to anybody before we dip?
Yo, first and foremost, shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you having me. You know,
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Shout out
you,
to
man.
shout out to the Wake and Bake Show. You know, much respect and love for what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we actually we met on it, you know, without even knowing at the 420 Astor Club rooftop joint.
That's right.
We both I snaked in line behind Sour Ways, faded like kind of like let us in line, and bro, you and I think it was you and two other people, bro. I felt like, and rightfully so, like y'all was so tight. That line was so long. I was like, damn, like, you know what I mean? It's funny how we met like that, and then I met you at Higher Empire with Ryan Doja Pack. He was doing the drop, and I had the ice pops and everything. But
that's crazy. That line was crazy, bro.
That line was crazy.
That line was
you know,
crazy.
and we were the last ones that got in.
Like
they let us out the elevator, and I think they let Ryan, because Ryan wasn't even in yet. Yep. They let Ryan up like the back door.
Yeah.
You know, but they gave him a hard time. But we were the last people on that line to get in, bro. Like that was a blessing, because that was a beautiful night. Shout out to Astor Club. That shit was crazy.
Definitely.
But man, I mean, you know, I shouted everybody out here. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, shout out to me.
Jimmy the Green
Giant, Seamoss. You know, I got my Seamoss with key limes. I got the Elderberry Elixir blend. That's a collab with the Elderberry Elixir company. Same jar of Seamoss, just blended with the Elderberry Elixir. You know, extremely beneficial, healing. You know, if you're trying to get right, it'll get you right. If you're trying to stay right, it'll keep you right.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, both of those products you can find on my website, thegreengiantshop.com. My Instagram, at Jimmy the Green Giant. At the Green Giant Shop is our shop Instagram. And newly dropped. You can find it in certain locations. I got some carts and things. I'm about to have a cart up in Harlem starting this weekend. Shout out to Branson and his whole team.
Congrats, man. Word.
Yeah, shout out to Dice, Rich, Real Rich. He, you know, we trying to, you know, like we said about the Seamoss, you know, about getting it to the kids. You know, they really tapped into the community up there, and you know, Branson, you know, him and I connected and hit it off. You know, he's a good friend of mine now. We've been really tight. You know, we both on that health wave. You know, he about to fire up his juice bar again.
Nice.
You know, obviously you'll be able to find some Seamoss there and some Seamoss sorbet. You know, but Seamoss sorbet is dropping mid-July. I get the pints right after. I get all the packaging and everything. I just placed the order. I mean, this is all happening in real time. You know what I'm saying? So. You know, I hope by mid-July I'll have those live on the website. Seamoss sorbet, 4 flavors: pineapple, mango, coconut, dragon fruit, chocolate.
Wow.
All plant-based. You know, low sugar, nothing crazy. You know, this is a high-end sorbet product. This has got a superfood in it. You know what I mean? So dropping it in pints and 5-ounce cups with a little wooden spoon. You know, and those will be good for grab and go.
That's amazing.
Like I said, there's gonna be a serving of Seamoss in, you know, in those 5-ounce cups. You know what I mean? So you know, you should eat that and not only have something that tastes delicious, but you know, something that you know is gonna make you feel good. You know, like
definitely delicious and definitely something that's gonna help the kids incorporate. I love that, man. The kids is gonna love it, man.
You know. I mean, even on 420,
I loved it.
you know, you eat a scoop of that. You know, you have an ice pop, Seamoss ice pop. You know, I'm bringing those back again. You know, I'm gonna bring those back too. You know, but the Seamoss sorbets is something I feel like that's just gonna go viral through supermarkets nationwide. But you know, there's a serving of Seamoss in there. You know what I mean? You know, when you're out and about. So you know, to all the smokers, cannabis users, right? Man, when you're at these events, everything is infused. Even the damn juices and water is infused, you know what I mean? So it's like, you want something that's gonna bring you back to life. And from the first time I dropped the ice pops, the first person I gave the ice pop to was Ryan in Washington Square Park. Shout out to Ryan Doja. You know what I mean? Like, he ate that, and bro, when I pulled up on him, he had been standing there, and I mean, that's taxing shit, having all these people come up to you. You know, he was giving out, you know, Ace. I forget what strain he dropped that day, but like, you know, he was just dolo standing there. You know what I mean? His team was close by, but like, this guy literally posted up on my cooler and was, you know, blessing everybody.
Fire, yeah.
You know, people coming up to him like he's the fucking Beatles. And and he had an ice pop. He had the first ice pop. You know, it was the first person having it, so like I was watching that on my peripherals, right? And yo, when I walked up, he was like, "Yo, Jimmy, what up?" You know, like dope. He pulled up, kind of thing. Yo, he ate that ice pop, and bro, he was like, "Yo, that thing brought me back to life."
That's what's up.
And he said it, and everybody that has those ice pops and like, you know, our diets and shit are dead minerals. There's no real nutrition in our food. You know what I mean? So, you know, our bodies are electric. We need to feed it electricity. You know what I mean? And this is real. This is a real deal product.
For real.
You know, key limes, alkaline, high energy. You know, Seamoss, naturally alkaline. You know, from the ocean, full of minerals. You know, when you give your body that after eating the standard American diet, bro, you're gonna light up like a Christmas tree.
Sure. And it's definitely good for the bus time, eh?
I mean, listen, on some real shit, people laugh when I be like, you know, talking about Seamoss, how it's, you know, it's like natural Viagra.
For real.
Ask anybody in the island, ask anybody who uses Seamoss, yo,
natural.
Your partner will thank you. That's a fact. Male and female. Because, you know what I mean, it works both ways. You know what I mean? Women benefit from the Seamoss probably more than men. I mean, the feedback I've gotten from women is some miracle stuff. You know what I mean? So, it's good, you know?
That's what's
You know,
up.
we out here promoting natural health, healthy alternatives. You know what I mean? We about this cannabis life. You know what I mean? So you know, we want to smoke good. You know,
get right and clean.
You got to treat your body good, man. How many people out here, you know, care about, you know, spending $100 on an eighth, but you know, but they eat McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't be doing that. You know what I mean?
100%.
So, and I live that. I don't judge. I don't knock it. I was once that way. I ate very unconsciously. You know, I mean, I grew up on fucking kid cuisine, blue plastic meals, microwave shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
facts.
oodles and noodles. You know what I mean? You see the studies come out on oodles and noodles. It don't eat like turns into like cement in your gut. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I like to lead by example. That's how you get people.
I like that, Jim. And I
know.
appreciate that, man, for real, man.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
Much love, my brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to me. This is the Wake and Bake Show.
You already, man.
Come on, man.
So we out here, man. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Fax. Big shout outs to Jimmy the Green Giant, man. You heard him, man, doing the damn thing. Definitely is amazing. The product, that sorbet, man. I can't wait, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Definitely looking forward to it. July, right?
July, mid-July. So,
Mid-July.
you know, we a few weeks out, man. A few weeks out.
Nice. Definitely looking forward to that, man. So big shout outs to you, your whole crew, the whole team, man. Thank you for coming through. And today's strain of the day was courtesy of my guy, Jimmy the Green. Shout outs to Like Mike, Permanent Marker, what was it, Gary Payne?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful blend, man. Burnt all the way through and enjoyed myself, man. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Fax. Shout outs to Empire hosting the spot, man. Really appreciate you guys. Shout outs to all the sponsors, 30 Flavor LA. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to QCC 420 and all my guys out there showing love, man. You already know what it is. Your boy Fax signing out for the Wake and Bake Show. Big shout outs to Jimmy the Green. You already know what it is, baby.
Peace. My brother.